The swamp of Lerna pulsed with a sickly, ethereal glow, a miasma of decay and dread. From its heart arose the Hydra, a grotesque tapestry of serpentine might. Its scales, the color of verdigris and obsidian, shimmered with an oily sheen, reflecting the swamp's unnatural light. Multiple necks, thick and corded with muscle, writhed and coiled, each crowned with a head that dripped venom, its fangs like shards of obsidian. The air crackled with the Hydra's malevolent energy, a palpable aura of death that clung to the stagnant waters and gnarled cypress trees. Its eyes, burning with a cold, reptilian fire, surveyed the landscape, a predatory gaze that promised only destruction. Heracles, a figure of mythic strength, stood before this monstrous apparition. His brow was furrowed, his jaw set, a grim determination etched upon his face. The air thrummed with the tension of the impending battle, a silent prelude to the storm of steel and venom that was about to erupt. The Hydra, a symphony of hissing and snapping jaws, initiated the assault. It lunged, a living wave of serpentine fury, its multiple heads striking with the speed of lightning. Heracles, agile and powerful, parried the attacks, his club, a weapon of raw might, deflecting the venomous strikes. The first blow landed, a resounding crack that echoed through the swamp. A head, severed from its neck, fell to the muck, its fangs snapping uselessly. But the Hydra, a creature of unnatural regeneration, responded with a horrifying surge. Two more heads sprang forth, hissing their defiance, their eyes burning with a malevolent green light. The battle became a whirlwind of motion, a dance of death played out in the fetid heart of the swamp. Heracles, a master of combat, moved with the grace of a god, his club a blur of motion, a tempest of destruction. Yet, for every head he severed, two more emerged, a cruel mockery of his strength. The Hydra, fueled by its unnatural resilience, pressed its advantage, its attacks growing fiercer, its venomous breath a searing cloud that threatened to consume the hero. The swamp itself seemed to join the fray, the murky waters churning, the gnarled trees reaching out like skeletal arms, attempting to ensnare Heracles. The air grew thick with the stench of blood and venom, the ground slick with the Hydra's ichor. Heracles, his muscles burning, his breath ragged, fought with the ferocity of a cornered lion. He dodged, weaved, and parried, his club a shield against the Hydra's relentless onslaught. Iolaus, his nephew, a beacon of unwavering loyalty, stood beside him, his eyes blazing with a fierce determination. He held aloft a blazing torch, its flames licking at the oppressive darkness, a symbol of hope in the face of overwhelming odds. As Heracles' mighty club cleaved through the Hydra's necks, Iolaus, with a swift and steady hand, cauterized the wounds, the searing flame hissing as it met the Hydra's flesh, preventing the monstrous regeneration. The air crackled with the energy of the burning torch, a stark contrast to the Hydra's cold, venomous power. The fight became a prolonged struggle, a grueling test of endurance. Heracles, his divine strength pushed to its limits, fought with a desperate resolve. He used his club not only to sever heads, but to batter the Hydra's thick, scaled hide, to break its coils, to disrupt its rhythm. He used the environment to his advantage, using the gnarled trees as leverage, the swampy ground as a trap. He used every ounce of his skill, every drop of his strength, every flicker of his cunning. The Hydra, enraged and wounded, thrashed and writhed, its numerous heads snapping and biting, its venomous breath a searing cloud that threatened to consume them both. It coiled around Heracles, attempting to crush him in its powerful embrace. It lashed out with its tails, attempting to sweep him off his feet. It used every trick, every weapon at its disposal, to defeat the hero. The battle raged on, a brutal ballet of death and defiance, until finally, Heracles, his body battered and bruised, his spirit tested to its limits, seized the immortal head. With a mighty roar, he severed it from the Hydra's body. Iolaus, with unwavering courage, plunged the burning torch deep into the severed neck, the flames consuming the Hydra's flesh and cauterizing the wound. The Hydra's immortal head, severed by Heracles' mighty blow, lay twitching in the muck, its reptilian eyes still burning with a malevolent flicker. The beast's colossal body, a landscape of iridescent scales and writhing muscle, shuddered and convulsed, a final, desperate spasm of life. The air, thick with the stench of venom and scorched flesh, hung heavy with the silence that followed the clash of titans. Yet, the danger was not entirely past. The severed neck, a gaping wound in the Hydra's monstrous form, still pulsed with a dark energy, a lingering echo of the beast's regenerative power. Heracles, his muscles screaming in protest, his breath ragged and shallow, watched with grim vigilance, his club still clutched in his weary hand. He knew that even now, the Hydra's unnatural resilience could still manifest, that the wound could birth new horrors, new heads to plague the land. He had to act, and act decisively, to ensure the beast's utter and complete destruction. Iolaus, his nephew, his loyal companion, stood beside him, his face streaked with soot and sweat, his eyes burning with a fierce determination. The burning torch, his weapon against the Hydra's unnatural power, flickered in his grasp, its flames casting dancing shadows across the swamp's murky surface. With a nod from Heracles, a silent understanding passing between them, Iolaus stepped forward, his movements swift and sure. He plunged the burning torch deep into the Hydra's severed neck, the flames erupting in a searing inferno, a final, violent act of purification. The Hydra's body convulsed once more, a shudder that ran through the very earth beneath their feet. A plume of black smoke billowed from the wound, acrid and choking, carrying with it the last vestiges of the Hydra's corrupting influence. The flames danced and writhed, consuming the Hydra's flesh, cauterizing the wound, and finally extinguishing the monstrous regeneration. The air crackled with the energy of the burning torch, a stark contrast to the Hydra's cold, venomous power. The stench of burning flesh filled the air, a final, gruesome testament to the Hydra's demise. As the flames subsided, leaving behind a charred and blackened wound, a profound silence descended upon the swamp. The Hydra's monstrous form lay still, its numerous heads now silent and lifeless, its reign of terror finally at an end. Heracles, his body aching, his spirit weary, lowered his club, a sigh of relief escaping his lips. He had faced a monster born of nightmares, a creature of unnatural power, and he had prevailed. He had faced the Hydra, and he had conquered it. The immortal head, still twitching faintly, was then taken by both Heracles and Iolaus. Together they found the largest boulder in the vicinity. With combined strength they rolled the immense rock over the head, crushing it into the earth, and sealing its power forever into the soil of Lerna. This final act ensured that not even a single cell of the creature could regenerate. The swamp, once a place of fear and dread, seemed to breathe a collective sigh of relief, the oppressive atmosphere lifting, the air clearing. The sickly green glow that had permeated the landscape began to fade, replaced by the soft, natural light of the setting sun. The birds, silent witnesses to the epic battle, began to sing, their melodies a celebration of the hero's victory. The frogs, once croaking a dirge, now sang a song of freedom. Heracles and Iolaus stood together, their silhouettes etched against the twilight sky, their shared triumph a beacon of hope in the face of darkness.